Mise-en-scène is the arrangement of scenery and stage properties in a play. However, in film analysis, the term mise-en-scène refers to everything in front of the camera, including the set design, lighting, and actors. Mise-en-scène in film is the overall effect of how it all comes together for the audience. There are two prominent styles of mise-en-scène: theatrical, which is often seen in sci-fi or adventure films, and naturalistic, which is seen in movies that are meant to take place in our world. World building in cinema is essential in pulling the audience into the story, especially movies that focus on authentically capturing the lifestyle of predominantly Black urban areas. So today I want to talk about mise-en-scène in hood movies, and what makes urban films feel so authentic. Hood movies can be divided into four main genres: coming of age, comedy, drama, and crime. And of course from there are movies that intersect and fall into multiple genres. Hood films tend to deal with topics like drugs, money, rehabilitation, gangs, survival, growing up, and the most common theme of all, making it out. So let's take a look at how directors, cinematographers, and set designers go about bringing the environment of the hood to cinema, starting with interior and exterior settings. Most urban films are indie movies, very rarely going over a budget of $10 million. And like most indie films, the directors use actual neighborhoods and local landmarks as film locations as opposed to artificial Hollywood sets.
And we fought relentlessly sometimes with people that said, can't you film it somewhere else? Can't you just maybe do like a week in Memphis and then shoot the rest of it in Los Angeles or in Atlanta? That's one thing that Singleton was really supportive with me on. He knew that this had to be filmed completely in Memphis.
Craig Brewer, the director of Hustle and Flow, was a Memphis native, and he wanted to capture the raw essence of Memphis and the Deep South for his film. The street DJ lived on in the movie was a real street in Memphis called St. Paul Avenue. He also filmed in local areas like Galloway Church and the Crystal Palace skating rink.
As soon as I was on the project, I had to fly down to Atlanta. We had 52 locations in just a few weeks to shoot them all. I wanted real locations. Atlanta is a character in this film, and I just wanted to find the nooks and crannies that made us feel like we were really there. We had to understand where these kids came from.
Chris Robinson, Gary Gray, John Singleton, and many other directors took advantage of filming in the actual cities and neighborhoods they were trying to portray. This automatically makes the movie feel more authentic and raw. Another aspect of mise-en-scène is the interior decorating of bedrooms. Take a look at Rashad's room from ATL. There are posters everywhere, hip-hop magazine covers, a boombox, PlayStation controllers, and lots of art. Although little things like this go unnoticed, it builds the character of Rashad, as he's very artsy and very urban. This style of decor is often the staple for hood films. Posters everywhere, lava lamps, video vixens, dartboards, hip-hop records, and more. Set designers have to go in and intricately decorate these rooms to accurately emulate the living spaces of young Black men, and it adds a lot to the characters we see on screen. Lowriders and Dayton rims were a huge status symbol for hustlers and drug dealers, especially in the 90s and 2000s. So a lot of movies used the cars and wheels to showcase that a character had come up or was in a position of power. Whereas characters who were on the grind may have had lowriders, but without the fancy gadgets like hydraulic spokes and Dayton rims. So now that we've gotten a basic sense of mise-en-scène in urban films, I want to take a closer look at how these visual cues can aid in storytelling. Hustle and Flow follows a Memphis pimp named DJ who's going through a midlife crisis and dreams of living a greater life than the one he has. After coming across a mini keyboard and meeting up with an old friend who records music for his church, he's inspired to create a mixtape using his lifestyle as inspiration for his lyrics, in hopes of getting the attention of a rapper named Skinny Black and potentially being signed to a record label. Hustle and Flow feels hot. It feels sweaty and humid and muggy. There are cup holders on the wall instead of acoustic panels, fans all throughout the studio, the windows are always down, and the heat is inescapable. Now this is partially because Memphis is in the South, therefore it's going to be hot, but heat is also known to create agitation and stress, and every character looks hot all the time. The humidity of Hustle and Flow represents the literal blood, sweat, and tears that go into making DJ's mixtape. This tape is his only way out. It's his only escape from this pimp lifestyle that barely keeps his head above water.
Miss Jackson, can you please cut on the AC?
Air conditioning is for honors classes. Kids who want to make something out of themselves.
Was you in honors classes? Cause you ain't got no AC either.
ATL is very atmospherically bright, and this is mainly because Atlanta is a very sunny city, but ATL also plays around with ambient lighting in a very interesting way. Ambient lighting is any light source the director or cinematographer didn't bring to set. This can include street lights, moonlight, neon signs, and anything else. And thanks to Cascade, Chris Robinson had a lot of ambient light sources to work with. Not only do neon lights allow for some really cool night scenes and beautiful practical shots, but it also gives the director room to play with color theory. Cascade is where most of these kids go to escape and have fun, so the colors are really warm. But in this scene where Nunu and Rashad are flirting, there's a soft red light being cast on them, representing the growing passion between the two. Alternatively, when Rashad's ex sees them flirting, a bright neon green illuminates her entire body, representing her envy and jealousy. Robinson also used to direct music videos, and you can see the influence of hip-hop culture with how the film looks. The beginning of Paid in Full starts with Rico, Mitch, and Ace sitting at a dinner table eating Chinese food and making conversation. Ace, the main character, talks the least in this scene and is in the lowest lighting despite being the main man in charge. He's low-key and not too flashy. Mitch, who has a reputation for being a baller, is centered directly in the middle, almost as if it's where he's supposed to be in a perfect world. Rico, the flashiest and most reckless of the three, talks the most in this scene. He's also wearing the biggest jewelry and designer clothes, representing his desire to be the king. After shooting a paper bag in the trash can, Rico dares Ace to make it again, betting $5,000 on the toss. While Ace declines, Mitch steps in. After shooting and making it, Rico's upset, but he seems more upset that Mitch is confident rather than the fact that he just lost $5,000. He then tells Mitch to double up, and after missing the second shot, Mitch looks to Ace for the rest of the money to give to Rico. Annoyed, Ace gives it to him. This scene sets up the entire tone for the rest of the film. Ace is level-headed and analytical. He doesn't go over the top when he doesn't have to. Meanwhile, Mitch is the traditional baller, who likes to look nice and flex, but he always stays loyal to Ace. And Rico, the one who eventually ends up betraying Mitch, is always making a scene and doing things on impulse without thinking them through. This entire 3-minute scene is subtle foreshadowing at its finest. Mise-en-scène is a very interesting film element because it can't be simplified into one specific thing. It's easy to get engrossed into the world of a film, but it's also easy to overlook what goes into building that world. Whether it's creating a fake set from the ground up or sticking posters on a wall, these small details play a major part in authentically capturing the conditions and culture of the hood. So the next time you find yourself watching a hood classic, try and see what small details you pick up on. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more, and until next time, goodbye.